After putting about 15 hours into playing Warframe in the recent weeks, I have found myself thoroughly enjoying the game, and since I last played the game, which I believe was somewhere over 3.5 years ago, a lot has changed since then. The game has now been out for what is close to, I think, 4 years, and a lot is probably going to change in the future. But what is it that makes Warframe so beloved by its own community? What does it offer for someone who may be curious if they should try it out or not? Well, all of that could be easily answered by a quick lookup on Google or YouTube, as it's been out for a good amount of time by now. And instead of producing an overview myself for this video, I would like to discuss why I think people should give Warframe a try and why I believe it continuously gets an overlook. First off, Warframe may not be the typical MMO or even an MMO by definition due to its lobby and mission playstyle, but that should not deter anyone from trying the game out, because its core elements are truly enticing, making it very easy to keep playing and conquering more. Now that the War Within has released, along with the new Glast Gambit update, it's easy to see that these continuous updates improve not only on the story, but on the gameplay as well. Beginning your time in Warframe may start off as a bit easy in order to introduce the essentials of the game, yet once you start to do missions in co-op with some other players, it starts to feel more inviting and enjoyable. Throughout the several different types of missions that they put you on, you're going to learn a lot about the game, yet it is not anywhere close to all of it. Warframe does a wonderful job at delivering enough of the initial information that they need to give you once you complete the beginning quest, and then it allows the user to play with their player freedom to capture the rest of the information. If there is something that other games and MMOs should take away from Warframe, I think it is that experimenting with the core game can help with development instead of only staying tried and true to its original state. Now, if you're changing the core of the game to help cater to the mainstream audience, that's a little different. But the way that Warframe has changed is definitely for the better. I mean, I remember back in the day, about 3.5 years ago, I think, you couldn't even move around in your ship. Essentially, you were allowed to choose the planet that you wanted to travel to, but it was just a main menu essentially, and you couldn't really do a whole lot with it. It may not have been the most crazy, defining change, but changes like those have happened all throughout the rest of the game systems and mechanics, and really makes it enjoyable. On top of the changes that they have expanded on, they have also expanded on the original experience, so much that all the additional warframes, planets, quests, and customizable features have made it fun for an even longer amount of time. And not only longer, but there is a far more amount of depth within the game, because when there were less planets, it made the game almost feel repetitive, to the point where it turned me off, and it was why I wasn't really able to get into the game. But now with the tons of different environments, it doesn't really feel as bland and repetitive as it used to. Yet, Warframe still has the initial grind that it always has had. The grind for currencies and materials in order to craft new weapons or new warframes. Like I mentioned, the change to the ship is minor, yet it does make the game feel that much more immersive with its experience. Before, where it was just a main menu and you couldn't do a whole lot besides from changing your planet and moving on to the next one, now being able to go to the several different stations and craft, do mods, look at your character, change the warframe, change the weapons, all those things are minor like I said, yet it definitely adds up to the immersiveness of the game. On top of that, the movement change that I've seen is far more smoother. Originally, it was not that it was clunky, but it made sneaky and being stealthy very hard. Now where you're able to play with different play styles, and you have to really idolize how those styles are different from each other. A lot of them really work off being stealthy and being quick. With the previous updates, they added in more weapons so that they can help players diverse their playstyle. And by having a large emphasis being put on to leveling up your weapons in order to fuel them with stronger mods, it makes the grind of killing more and more mobs throughout your time a little bit more worth your time, because you're gonna actually want to make these weapons stronger. You know, once you buy that higher tier weapon, you're gonna want to be able to make it more powerful by putting in these mods. And so much so that the grind is going to feel less apparent when you're having fun. That kind of goes for most games out there. When you're enjoying the grind, you don't really notice the grind while you're doing it or while you're playing the game. And so like I said, when you're working towards buying that new tier 3, 4, or 7 or whatever it is, you're going to want to try to max it out with higher rank mods. As I said, I haven't put a lot of time into the game, so I haven't been able to unlock another Warframe, and I'm actually withholding on crafting a new weapon until I can get to the higher tiers. And although I haven't achieved much in the eyes of a veteran, I'm having fun with Warframe more as my secondary casual game, but I do think a lot of people could actually really enjoy this game as their primary game, because at its initial sight, you may think the game is repetitive to hop in and out of missions, yet once you really start to dive into the game and see what it has to offer, you will realize how much there is to learn about the game. I'll say to those people who have yet to try the game, please give it a try. It doesn't hurt to try the game. It has a very solid payment model, being a free-to-play game, and it offers tons of content. If you have played Warframe in the past and you didn't enjoy it, then I kind of suggest you to try it again and see if you enjoy it, because the game changes a lot every single year, and going into 2017, it's looking very good for Warframe, as it is very often one of the top games on Steam. How do you guys feel about Warframe? Are you playing Warframe? Are you a veteran? Let me know down below if you guys have played it before, if anything has turned you off about the game. Like I stated, casual game for me. Because I'm not really playing with friends, I tried to get a couple of friends to play with me. They denied me. Guess I'm not so great at convincing people, but that's sort of the reason why it's a secondary game for me. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave me some feedback, and I'll see you guys in the next one.